Hi, wheel throwing class. This is Tsehai, and I want to talk about making spouts. So this is the beginnings of a spout, completely solid, not very elegant. And what I'm going to do is actually pull it like I pulled a handle to begin the spout forming process. So I've got a container of water, I'm gonna get it wet, and make a pulled spout. So kind of is very similar to pulling a handle, except for I shape the top a little bit more like what I hope the end spout will look like. So it's solid, but we're gonna, after I pull it and let it set up, we're going to make it a hollow pouring spout. Now I'm kind of just thinking about shape. I think I sort of got it as thin as I want it. And I can hold it up to my teapot, see what I think. I think it's fine. So now it needs to set up till it's just shy of leather hard. But I have a couple other spouts ready to go to show you the next steps. So here I have a spout that I pulled this morning a little earlier. And then I already cut it so that it will fit nicely on this teapot. But it's hollow. There's no possibility of it pouring as it exists. So grabbing my X-Acto knife, I will just cut it in half. And so now, I guess I need to cut it a little bit more. Okay, so I have it in half, a little bit, didn't cut it exactly evenly, but so now I have these two interior sides exposed. I've already actually cut another one in half. So this one I cut in half, and I've already carved out half of it with a loop tool, so we could move through this process a little more quickly. So I'm just using a trimming tool to carve this out. Doesn't need to look beautiful on the inside. No one's ever gonna see it. Although it's kind of nice to know that, I don't know, that germs aren't gonna reside in some like weird crevice. So have my brush to score both sides. I'll get it, I mean not to score, to get it damp before I score. And my scoring tool, where did that go? Oh, here it is. So, we'll score it up. So this is soft enough to score and attach, but it's also stiff enough to hold its shape so that while I handle it and put it back together, it's not gonna buckle or morph into some other shape that I didn't want it to have. So now I have it together. You can still see evidence of the seam, but that's really, really easy to make disappear with just any rib that you have. And sometimes I like to go and also score and reinforce just the inside of where I cut it in half, just so that there's no possibility when I put it on my teapot that might be a weak spot that would cause a crack later on. And then I do also need to really give some attention to the opening of the spout, because while no one knows how I got to making this spout on the inside, they're going to see that opening, and I think it's really important that it looks clean and nice and professional. So I have a smaller brush here, and I just dipped it in some water. Going to just make that look like, make sure that as far as you can see in the spout, it looks really nice and cleaned up. All right. Since this is the spout that I have finished, right now it's probably the spout that I'll put on the teapot, but I have options. And then I also want to talk about a, not a solid built spout, but one that you make from a slab. So a piece of paper and a shape that I cut out of the paper that I think will make a nice spout. I have some already rolled out slabs, and where's my brayer? Here it is. I think for this technique, I'd like my slab to be really thin so that my spout doesn't look really big and chunky. Here's a great opportunity also to use a texture to put on your slab. I happen to have something I normally use to decorate cakes when I'm baking, so I'm gonna try this. So I can just roll this doily pattern on there. And now I'm going to put my template down, cut out the slab, and score, of course. One side on the inside and one side on the outside. Bring it over and attach. Now I could clean this up, or I could leave my seam exposed and have that part of the aesthetics of my piece. I think that's definitely a choice you would make in collaboration with thinking about your own personal style and also thinking about your collaborating artists and what choice would they make. So this spout then can kind of come, it's really very large. So I'm gonna cut it down a little bit, bring it back over here and see what I think. I don't think it's exactly appropriate for this teapot, but you see the potential. But what I'm gonna do is attach this one that I already have pretty much finished. So, first of all, I just wanna make sure it rests really nicely on the teapot, and currently it does not. There's a huge gap. So I'm going to cut it, so hopefully it'll have the same curve as the body of the teapot. That's a little better. Maybe it needs to come out a little, so maybe I need to take off a little bit from the bottom. All right, so next step is for me to make sure that it's lined up and it's where I want it. Also, it's really important that top of your spout is higher than the opening of your lid. Otherwise, you won't be able to fill your teapot up as much as you'd like to get your required 4 cups of tea out of it. That's a requirement of the assignment. So yeah, if my spout was like this, remember I could only fill up my teapot this full. So I want to have it kind of up more. So now I've marked out where the edge of where I need to score my teapot. And now I'm going to just cut out a hole that will allow my tea to come out. Again, score that. I'm going to get the bottom of my spout wet. Score this side of the spout and attach. Here's where I could go in with a little bit of a coil, a really small coil, and clean this up. Like put that in there. It's still really wet from my scoring, so I don't need to worry about scoring that additionally. And then clean it up like that. Now, of course, stand back and look at it and see if you like that spout. I could always take it off and replace it with one of the other ones since it hasn't really adhered yet. But I'm pretty happy with it. And so now I want to think about the kind of handle that might work well with this spout. I might do a really short handle demonstration, but since I already did that in class, it won't be a very long video. All right, thank you very much, and thank you, Arlo.